Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. This morning's topic: social media is not the real world. Now, I am bringing this topic to you because many of us rely on social media every day in our lives. Now, granted, social media is a very good tool, especially if you want to promote your brand, your business. If you want to promote yourself and going into different careers, it is a good networking tool. Now, when I talk about social media, I'm talking about the likes of Vimeo, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and there are other means of social media out there, such as online dating, and you still have some of the messenger sites on. Now, the problem with social media is that many of us use it for wrong doings or wrong behaviors. And a lot of us who are on social media want to air out our grievances. You look at so many YouTubers. Certainly, the information that they put out is good information, but they have become very emotional and they take their baggage and they put it on camera. Some take their baggage and put it on Facebook. And for all you who are on Facebook who say you have all these friends, well, they're not your friends. You don't know many of them unless they're actually your family members and individuals you went to school and you became friends with as you grew up. Many of us spend a lot of time on social media and we forget about what's happening in the real world. Just like I did a video on truth and deception, social media doesn't always put the truth out there. Just like television. Now, is television a form of social media? No, television is a form of media. In fact, television has been around since 1948. But even with television, many of us are getting our information from television, such as reality shows, shows like Empire, Scandal, some soap operas still come on, and we try to live those types of lives. You can't do it. And when it comes to social media, too many of us are constantly on social media 24/7. I know I'm on social media right now doing a YouTube video, but it is prevalent that I get this information out because, first of all, I am in the real world. I don't do YouTube videos as much as I used to because I am working, and I like to be out in the real world because that's where you get your good information from, because you can hear it from the streets. Because what you hear on social media and in mainstream media is not always the truth. Why? Because the truth can be distorted. A number of us have narratives that we want to fit. And if you don't want to be the victim of backlash, well, in social media and mainstream media, you better walk lock, step, and barrel with the propaganda that is being presented to you. And I put this information out because, again, social media allows us to live lies. Let's take a look at online dating. Online dating used to be a good source of meeting people up until Facebook came out. And with online dating, people used to put up a picture and a profile. But if you look at online dating now, it's just become a haven for people who are looking for sex. Now, I'm not saying you can't find relationships with online dating, but a number of people distort in their profile who they are. And when you go meet them in person or talk to them on the telephone, they're not who they say they are. See, with social media, it gives you relevance to lie and deceive people you are looking to meet. I love social media. It's good to integrate it into your everyday life, but you have to use social media for the right reason. Lies and deceptions are improper for social media. And when there's an event that takes place, a number of individuals aren't researching the facts. They're just going by personal opinion and emotion. Let me give you an example. This event that took place in Las Vegas. Well, you have a number of opinions about it, but many people who are giving you an opinion weren't there. They don't know what took place. They don't know what was said by law enforcement. They're only utilizing what they hear other people say. And different words people manifest and then they copy or reuse over and over and over again on social media, like in the black sector, the word coon. I didn't hear that word until I came to YouTube. I didn't even hear the word swirling until I came to YouTube. And that's what you have when it comes to social media. Many people believe that they can come on a Facebook and be overnight stars. Now, of course, there are exceptions to the rule. But generally speaking, social media is not the real world. If you want to get good information, understand how the real world works. First, you need to look at the government. The government has three branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branch. Now, social media, there are some sites that are conveying that message. But for the most part, when it comes to social media, many of us are caught up in the drama and emotion. Why? Because it sounds good. In fact, with the drama and emotion, it makes some of us feel good. Now, I don't feel comfortable with anybody being a victim of circumstance. But what I feel comfortable with is if social media is being utilized to teach. Now, what I do here at the 411 Talk Zone radio show, I teach. I give you the insight about the real world, and where I get my information from is I do research it, and I go out in the streets and talk to people. That's why on my channel, I integrate social media and real world together so you get the picture of what it's like to be in the real world. And I like the real world. It is challenging, but you can get a lot of information that you're not going to hear on mainstream media. And not to knock social media, but if you're really looking to utilize it in a positive way, social media is a good networking tool, especially if you're looking for a job, if you're going to school, if you're trying to meet professionals like LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn page. I don't go on Facebook as much because Facebook is just a haven for drama. You look at Facebook Live. There have been many incidents up there where murders have occurred on Facebook Live. And people engaging in this behavior should not be behind a camera. But if you want to know how the real world works, you got to get out to the real world. Social media puts blinders on people. Look, folks, it's easy to sit behind a camera and talk all day about what you think is going on in the real world. But unless you've actually gotten out there with a little mobilization to see what's going on, you don't know what's going on. I love being in the real world because it constantly changes. And this is why you have to keep up with the real world every day. But going back to social media, it does give you good information. But when I talk about it not being in the real world, it's because many of us live through social media, just like we live through some of the television programs. Now, whoever came up with social media was very smart. Now, social media is not new because in the late 90s, early 2000s, they had AOL Messenger, Yahoo Messenger, and I'm getting on this as well. They are good tools. The chat rooms are good tools. But the problem with that form of social media, along with texting, and shout out to Sister Rare Jim for putting this out, and shout out to Brother Matt Coley, Rashawn DeLay, Brother Real Deal, Guy King, Brother JTI. Shout out to my daughter Victoria. Shout out to everybody that makes it possible for me to do these videos, because I'm only putting the information out for you so you don't have to walk around with blinders on. But going back to social media, before I get off track, social media is a good tool as long as you don't live in the life of social media, because you have a number of people going up on Instagram just putting their body out there. You're disrespecting yourself. If you want to be a model, try a model agency. Get out in the real world if you have it and seek it. The problem with social media is that prospective employers can see your page and they find out that your behavior is not up to par. They're not going to hire you. This is why you don't want to give anybody the perception that you are a bad person, because people do judge you. I know the Ten Commandments always says thou shalt not judge thy neighbor, but everybody we judge isn't our neighbor. But social media, going back to the Yahoo Messenger, the texting, the AOL, it doesn't teach you how to talk face to face or meet face to face with a person. In fact, there are a number of people who have broken up from text messages. And also, text messages don't teach you how to answer the phone. If you are having a discussion with somebody and the discussion goes south, many individuals don't want to hear what you have to say on the phone, so they escape to texting. And a lot of us, when we're on social media like Facebook, texting, or any other venue where we have to type, what happens is many of us are either putting out the wrong message or we're not comprehending the message that people are conveying to us. That's why I don't allow too much texting. If I could get rid of texting on my phone, I would, because if you want to have a conversation, utilize social skills. Because I did a video on this a long time ago, but social media has really taken the place of actual social skills. I can remember sitting in my office when I was working for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Now, my supervisor was sitting about 5 feet from me. So he sends me an email. And I just told him, hey, if you need me to do something, just call me. I'm sitting right across from you. Well, he said that he had a lot of tasks to do. Well, that's good, but you just waste your time typing when I have my feet, I can get up, I can get the information from you and carry on the task. An email wasn't necessary. And I see that around the workplace, because emails are a form of social media as well. When you can't have face-to-face or personal conversations with individuals, that means you're living in social media. It's all virtual. And the bottom line, you'll never get to know people personally utilizing social media. Why? Because to know somebody is to be around that person. You socialize with that person physically. And this is why the online dating doesn't always work, because again, people give you a perception of who they are. And when you actually meet them, they're not that person that they said they were in that profile that they've written. And then, of course, with the social media, and I see it in my comment section, I don't even know half the people who are even submitting comments, except for my daughter. She has a picture up, but most people don't even have a picture. And that's suspect to me when you don't have a picture, because I don't know if you are a real person or a troll, because you have a number of trolls come on YouTube and Facebook who are faceless. And I don't even know a number of the people that I interact with on YouTube because I've never seen their face, but you can see my face. And that's what social media allows you to do. It allows you to hide behind an avatar. It allows you to hide behind a big lettered initial without showing your face. I've always been suspect to people who can't show their face. Now, I know there are individuals who have jobs. Well, the best thing to do, if you want to be respected on social media as far as showing your face, well, for me, I have an email. Send a picture of yourself through my email. That way, I know who I'm talking to. Because right now, when people are hiding behind an avatar or something other than a picture of them, I grow suspect. Because that makes me believe that you're hiding something. And that's how I was feeling on online dating. You have a number of people who escape the real world and they hide behind a keyboard. And that's the detriment that social media has done to this culture. Doesn't allow us to converse freely. We waste more time typing and being on social media than actually having a face-to-face conversation. In fact, a number of individuals, since we have social media, really don't have any intent on meeting anyone in person. Why? Because it takes work to meet someone in person, where when it comes to social media, it doesn't. You can utilize deception so the person that you're conveying information to believes you're that person. But again, when it comes to everything in life, the real world, I don't look at what you say. I always follow the action and what you do, because it is prominent that you understand people through their actions. There's a saying out there that a number of people say what you mean what you say. I've heard that time and time again. But they miss something. It's like a book. A book has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, what's missing from the say what you mean what you say saying is the action. You say what you mean, you follow it with action, you mean what you say. You mean what you say, you follow it with action, and you say what you mean. It's supposed to be associative. Now, what I mean by associative is, in mathematics, you have two operations that take place. And I'm going to use both of them in the form of addition. Well, associative means you can take numbers in order of where you place your parentheses. Like if I have 1 plus 2 plus 3, I can put parentheses around 1 plus 2 first, and I do that operation, and then I add the 3. Or I can take the 1 and put parentheses around the 2 plus 3. Well, that's what that saying should be. You should always follow what you say with action. And you should do it over and over and over again. And when it comes to social media, you should be sincere on social media, because it's not the social media, it's the individual who is on social media. And again, there are individuals who are at work. They're constantly on their cell phones, on the Facebook page, getting information on Facebook, living a life of the drama that's presented to them. But again, Facebook is not the problem. It's the people who are utilizing Facebook for the wrong reasons. And I'm not here to bash social media, but if you really want to understand the real world, you got to get out in the real world. You got to take the bus, you got to drive, you got to talk with people. See, the real world allows you to be confident in social skills, where social media doesn't allow you to be confident, because you don't have to have social skills when it comes to utilizing social media. All you have to do is be able to type. Now, there are applications out there like IMO and Skype that can be a useful tool, because you're actually seeing a person's face and you can convey a conversation with them. But again, have you actually met that person in real life? No. And that's the problem with social media. You can't really have conversations back and forth where both parties are delivering information unless you are typing something. And again, I prefer talking to somebody rather than typing it, because I'm not going to get misconceptions, and then I can hear the inflections in a person's voice to see if their feelings are hurt or not. Whereas in social media, you don't know what's happening. Cell phone is technology, but you can put that in the form of social media as well. You have a number of people who will give you their phone number. But when you call them, they're not available, but they'll send you a text. Now, it might not be that they're not available. It may be that they have somebody else. And I'm talking about dating right now. They may have somebody else, but they're not telling you. I mean, how many of you have gotten a phone number from a person, and every time you call a person, they're not available? You send them a text message, they're not available. But at the last moment's notice, you'll see a text message from them. They'll tell you, well, I've been very busy with work and family, which some people may have been busy with work and family, but they don't have enough respect to tell you that. And that's an example of being able to hide behind social media without telling the truth. See, before they even had social media, we had to actually convey messages with each other. Now they had answer machines. People could leave a nasty message on your answer machine. But very rarely did that happen. But today, the millennials especially, they're more into social media rather than talking to one another. And I see it based on interviewing some of these millennials for jobs. They don't have a clue about interviewing, how to dress for an interview, how to even write a proper resume, because they get all their information from bad sources on social media. And of course, you have young parents who grew up with social media themselves, and that's all they know. But the real world is a place that you're going to get a lot of information. You can integrate social media into the real world, but social media is not your life. Again, social media is virtual. And once individuals understand that concept of social media and real world being two separate entities, it's going to be a lot easier for them to actually integrate the two together, because you can benefit if you learn how to use social media for the right purpose. Now, I'm giving you my point of view. It is a tool for networking. It is not a tool for you to expose yourself and your personal grievances that you have in the real world. You go take that up with the person in the real world. You don't want to air your dirty laundry on social media or anybody else's, because what's going to happen is you could be sued for defamation of character or slander. Individuals don't know that. So before you get on social media, understand what the use of social media is, or what are you using it for. And I would say that for anybody who starts a new YouTube channel, know what you are going to convey. Show your face. Be personable. Social media is here to stay. But again, social media is not the real world, and we have to stop depending on it too much, because most of what I see on social media is a bunch of drama, and it's very immature. And individuals have a lot of time on their hands. I go to work 6 and 7 days a week, so I'm not on social media, but I continue to put videos up when I have a topic that comes to my mind. But be that as it may, social media is a tool that you can use for marketing, but it is not the real world. Certainly, you can use it as a tool to catch up with folks that you haven't seen in 20 to 30 years as well. That's a good thing about social media. But if you're using social media like Yahoo Messenger or AIM, which AIM is gone by the wayside, or even texting to convey your information, you're only doing yourself harm. And there are people who want to hide behind texting because they don't want to hear the truth about themselves as well. This is why you can't talk to them on the telephone. They don't want to answer the telephone, especially if you had a disagreement with them, because it's much easier to hide behind social media. It's safe. It's a passive way out. And a number of individuals waste too much time texting. I don't like a lot of texting. I like talking to a person via telephone and then visiting them in person, because I like to be personable. Social media has created another avenue where people don't have to have social skills. And this is why they don't understand the real world. The real world's not going away either. And if you don't understand what's going on around you, you're going to be misinformed, and you're going to be subjected to the propaganda that's going to be delivered to you. And if you don't want to be subjected to the lies and deception, get out there and see what's going on in the real world. Because the real world has a lot to offer. Sure, social media can be integrated into the real world. But just like the truth, and I've mentioned this, the real world is always going to prevail. Why? Because the events that you are hearing in the news and social media that you are presenting to other viewers, it is actually taking place in the real world. Now, I know some of you are afraid of the real world, but you got to grow up. And you got to understand that if you want to prosper in the real world, you must get off your derriere and look at what's going on around you. Have conversations with real people instead of utilizing social media to talk to people. Social media is a good tool for marketing, but it should not be your source of interacting with people. You need the real world to interact with people. And once you understand how the real world works as an individual, it's going to be a lot easier for you to be successful, and you won't be disappointed when it comes to truth. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this morning, Hump Day, Wednesday, October 11th, 2017. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in debates, controversy, or emotional issues. Now, that depends on how the audience member is receiving the information. It could be emotional to them, but basically, I give you a perspective that's positive because I don't engage in drama or unnecessary bickering because it's a waste of time and it's counterproductive. What I do here at the 401 Talk Zone radio show is teach. I give you the education on how the real world works. And if you understand that the real world is here to stay, just like social media, once you put the two together and you get quality information, it's going to be easier for you to look at the system in different ways because the real world is challenging. And what I mean by the system is you understand how the system of government works, how the system of currency works, because everything has a system. You understand how dating works, you understand how marketing works, and there are different concepts that make a culture work. And if you have all the information, guess what? You have knowledge. And what have I always said about knowledge? Knowledge is power. And if you have a topic, a new YouTube channel, or business that you would like for me to talk about on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering, if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed day.